I'm very excited for today's guest. I am joined by serial entrepreneur. He successfully launched over 14 businesses in the course of his history here on Earth. He's worked with and been endorsed by people like Dave Ramsey, Dan Miller. He is the leader of the Iron Sharpens Iron Mastermind. And today we're really going to focus on the power of mastermind programs. And he's going to talk to us about his 11-step formula that he's teaching in the Mastermind Playbook. Aaron Walker, welcome to the show.
Hey, Mark, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate this. I've been so looking forward to being your guest. So thank you for having me today.
Thank you much. It's an honor to have you here because look, the best thing you can do is bring people that have wisdom and experience, and you bring all of that. And especially in these crazy times with coronavirus and
Yeah.
just a crazy world. So I'm going to ask you, how and what is the common denominator that successful businesses have? How can we survive through these crazy volatile times? What have you seen that's worked?
Yeah, I think it goes way back. It's the foundational principles that we've set forth. That never changes. Those are timeless. And one of the things that we've got to do, Mark, is really pay attention to our mindset. And it happens first, in our vision and our dreams. And I think we can execute on that. Sometimes we have to pivot. Sometimes it looks a little differently than it did previously. Things that we're doing today are a little different as far as an execution standpoint than it was even 3 or 4 or 5 months ago because of the coronavirus. But it's easier to rotate and pivot something that's moving rather than trying to get something out of the harbor. It's easier to steer a moving ship if you're in motion. A lot of people lock up, they pull back, they retreat, and that's the worst thing that you could do. I think that you've got to get trusted advisors around you. I think there's a greater need today for trusted advisors and mentors and coaches than ever before because we're dealing in uncharted waters. And so I think that if we keep our focus, if we stay true to our core values, we really know what our mission is. It's just the delivery is going to be a bit different.
Love that. And I think that as an entrepreneur trying to build something from the ground up, and a lot of the listeners out there are going to understand this, it can feel lonely. It can feel really difficult and almost impossible to get positive feedback or constructive criticism. Everyone's like, yeah, that's good. Or I don't understand what you're doing. So I'm just curious, in your experience, Aaron, how important has it been to you to surround yourself with the right people and to get that constructive criticism?
Yeah, great question, Mark. Well, I'll just simply say to begin with, isolation is the enemy to excellence.
Mm.
And if you really want to go forward in life, you have to surround yourself with competent advisors, non biased, trusted advisors, kind of your own board of directors, if you will, somebody that doesn't have anything to gain or lose as a result of their input. Because oftentimes business partners or colleagues or family members are very biased. They don't want to hurt your feelings or they have something of interest themselves that they want to accomplish. But when you surround yourself with people that are very capable, very competent in their field, they can give you sound advice. They can point out your superpowers and your Achilles heel. They can also point out your blind spots, which is the thing that really gets us in trouble. And I know years ago, Dave Ramsey invited me to join his mastermind group. And honestly, I didn't want to do it at the time. Dave's a hard charger, and I knew it was going to be about authenticity and transparency and vulnerability. And I was a young guy at the time, and I didn't really want to do that. I didn't want people to know that I didn't have it all together. I didn't want them to know that Robin and I had disagreements and that some of my children misbehaved occasionally and that my business wasn't being as successful as I wanted it to be. And I didn't want people to know that. So today, Mark, people live with a veil. They live behind this facade and they don't want people to know that they're having troubles. Well, in a correct environment, such as a mastermind group, it gives you permission to let that veil down. And I just want to be honest with everybody out there. Robin and I just celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary. You have highs and you have lows, you have challenges. And I just want to encourage you that we don't know everything, right? We don't know what we don't know. And we've got to have people surrounding us that are edifying us, encouraging us, lifting us up, giving us sound advice. And as far as this level of success I've had, there's no way I could have done that alone.
Mm.
We weren't designed to be alone. We were designed to be surrounded by other competent, encouraging people. And so, days that I went into the mastermind, I felt low, they picked me up. And other times I came in too high, they pulled me down. And they said, hey, let's stay to the fundamentals, let's stay to the basics. Let's understand that you need to be creative, but at the same time, you want to make judgments based on sound data. And so they really helped me walk the true path. They were kind of like guardrails in my life. And today, with this coronavirus going on, if I didn't have trusted advisors, I'd want to crawl under my desk in the fetal position
Mm.
because we've never been here. We don't know what we're dealing with. We don't know how it's going to impact us personally or professionally. And we need people to help us make a sound decision.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. It's like we're getting new information all the time from all these different places, and it's enough to make your head spin.
Yeah,
It's really hard to even figure out which way is up. As a scuba diver, I that's like your greatest fear is getting
sure.
twisted up and not knowing which way is up or down. So I'm with you 100%, and I've also interviewed Larry Hagner, who
Yeah.
runs the Dad Edge Alliance, and
Larry and our friends. Yeah.
great
Yeah.
guy. And he repeated that same exact thing, that isolation is what was that saying again? I'm sorry.
Isolation is the enemy to excellence. He gave me credit for it,
Yes.
actually. Larry was in my mastermind group. And so I've mentored Larry for years and coached Larry. And he actually texted me after his interview with you. And he said, Big A, I'm giving you credit for that. And I said, Well, I'm sure I stole it from somebody also. But the fact remains is that isolation is the enemy. And we have these voices in our head. We all have them. And Mark, you've done it as well. I laid in bed one night about a year ago and somebody left our organization. And I said, Robin, do you think anybody else will join our organization? She said, shut up and go to sleep. And I'm like, we have these voices that tell us we're not good enough. We're not smart enough. We can never do this. And so through isolation, those voices get magnified. But when you get out and you're able to share those thoughts and ideas with other people, they go, hey, shut up and go to sleep or move forward. They push you through those upper limit challenges. And I could recite case in point for hours of things that it's helped push me through upper limit challenges.
I love that. I love that. It to me, it's about taking control of your life, because things can just feel like they're falling off the rails sometimes. So I really love that stability type of mentality.